All right, so I have two stories here focused on the trans community since the administration's at war with this community. So let's just go ahead and kick it off. Oh my gosh, I can't say that title. See, I write like mean titles here when I'm like really mad and then I forget to change them. So let's just say Duck Face tries to Rainbow Crosswalks. All right, so in a federal letter dated July 1st, Transportation Secretary Sean P. Duffy gave states 60 days to review intersection crosswalks and identify compliance concerns as part of his Safe Roads initiative. Duffy argued that non-standard colors have no place on public streets. Quote, roads are for safety, not political messages or artwork, he said. Um, the Florida Department of Transportation, love that state, issued a similar memo cautioning city and county leaders that state funding could be withheld if they failed to comply. Uh, this directive specifically called for the removal of non-compliant traffic control devices and surface markings, including pavement art installations. Now, I wonder who they're trying to go after here. Like, what kind of crosswalks are they so mad about, and why are they all of a sudden mad about it? I don't know. But anyways, the agency head also pointed that the impact of autonomous vehicles, stressing that consistent application of pavement surfaces is critical for their safe operation, which, I mean, let's be real here. They're talking about, the rainbow crosswalks. And if that messes up a Tesla or whatever POS autonomous car that you have, I don't think it's safe for the streets. Now, what's really interesting here, available research contradicts the safety concerns. A 2022 study which reviewed crash data from 17 asphalt art sites nationwide with at least 2 years of records found that colorful crosswalks, aka your rainbow crosswalks, the gay ones that everyone's afraid about, um, found 83 fewer crashes after the installations, representing a reduction of more than 50% compared to the period before the crosswalks were painted, which this makes sense, right? Because like when I encounter a quote art crosswalk or just rainbow crosswalk, it kind of like brings your attention to it. Like you kind of, when you're driving, you almost get kind of in this like zone of you're driving, everything's gray, whatever. And then you have this very colorful crosswalk. It pops out at you, kind of like jogs you, I don't know, awake. And you're like, oh, this is a crosswalk. I can see a person very clearly against all the colors of the rainbow. Um, but yeah, so the administration is trying to do away. So they're trying to do away with gay marriage, and now they're trying to do away with rainbow crosswalks. What do you think?
Uh, I want to come back to the gay marriage one in a minute because I think that there's some interesting things happening there, specifically within the Republican Party. It, it, they have really tapped into the fact that they're just leaning into the culture war stuff, right? Their economic policies are crap. They're having a harder and harder and harder and harder time defending them every single fucking day because shit's still getting expensive. Vegetables are going up in price. Everything else is still getting worse economically, and none of their plans are working. And we're 6 months into the administration right now. And again, they did the same thing during the first administration where they were like, look how fast it'll get better. And it didn't, right? And so they go back to the well. It's red meat for their base. And that's all it is, right? You're the transportation secretary and you have nothing better to do than worry about what color a sidewalk is painted. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And autonomous vehicles, we're just making crap up now. Just let's be done with the nonsense. Again, I kind of want to come back to the gay marriage one later, as I had some time to kind of look into it, and I've got some thoughts on that one. But why don't you tell us the other thing they're trying to do?
Well, they didn't try. They 100% did. And by them, I mean our National Park Service, specifically Yosemite. Um, this is coming from the New York Times, but you can find the story everywhere today. So the National Park Service has fired Shannon Jocelyn, 35, who studies bats and has a PhD in genetics. They were employed as a wildlife biologist at Yosemite National Park. They got fired because they helped drape a large transgender flag from a rock face back in May. They stated that the demonstration had taken place in a prohibited area and lacked the required permits. But this is where like things get a little interesting here. So the park banned public protests like this on May 21st, after this had already happened. And Dr. Jocelyn said in an interview that the new rule had not gone into effect yet, when several climbers scaled the mountain face with the flag, and the group had not been aware of the pending ban. The group also took down the flag before being ordered to. The demonstration also occurred during their own personal time. They were not on the clock. They also stated that everything that I did was off the clock, and I had absolutely nothing to do with my capacity working for the National Park Service. I think that the administration is using me as a sign to tell all of our other federal employees that they have to be silent and comply, or they will be eliminated. We made sure that no part of the flag would get in any kind of way of any climbers trying to climb the routes that go through that area. So this is a very interesting stance. I believe this is a pretty, in my opinion, this is a pretty harsh stance for a community that is, I mean, being attacked. Now, yes, if I went to where I work right now and I hung a flag on the side of the building, I would probably get in trouble. I don't even know if I would get fired. I might get fired, but for a national park, on your day off, when people are there climbing already, and then making an example out of this one person, I don't know. I think it kind of sends the wrong message, but also I think the Park Service is kind of afraid of the current administration. What do you think?
I got two things to think. First, I almost feel bad for saying this. Dr. Jocelyn, quote, everything I did was off the clock. I think the administration is using me as a sign to tell the federal employees that to be silent and comply or they'll be eliminated. Yes, and water wet. News at 11.
Yeah.
The administration is going to use jobs, your federal jobs, to make you comply with their political ideology. Again, water wet. Like, look, if you guys want to fight, this is the consequence, right? This is the consequence, okay? And the thing that I have to say to people on this topic when they're like, why aren't more people fight? Because they're not willing. It hasn't gotten bad enough for people where people are willing to accept that there's going to be like, you want to really rebel and fight, there's going to be fucking consequences, kids. That's how this works. Again, do I think she should have been fired? Absolutely not. Right? I think there's a pretty clear First Amendment issue. Right? I wouldn't even call it a demonstration or a public protest. But again, it's a First Amendment issue, and am I shocked that the administration's going after First Amendment rights that goes against their political ideology? No, like, just This isn't surprising to me at all. Not at all. It's sad, but it's not surprising. So, it's just, this whole thing, again, makes you shake my head. Again, none of their economic policies are working. There's no peace deals. There's nothing. The wars are continuing, and they can't get squat done, right? Of any real consequence. So this is what they're going to do to feed red meat to the base. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Also, speaking about feeding red meat to the base, something that a story that kind of popped up that I honestly do not understand. I did not put it on the rundown. Actually kind of forgot to like look into this a little bit more. So let's have a discussion, a little miniature discussion here about this.
Sure.
The internet freaking out over a male NFL cheerleader, which I honestly do not understand. Like, I really legit do not understand their stance, because I think from the dawn of time, or the dawn of cheerleading, there's always been male cheerleaders, because they actually help support some of the girls. Like,
there was
anything new.
Did you guys not watch Bring It On?
Yeah.
Okay, come on. Classic fucking teen comedy with Eliza Dushku and Kirsten Dunst. And what is it? They're a bunch of male cheerleaders. It's a thing. It's always been a thing. There's male cheerleaders all over the thing. Again, it's specifically, I think it's the Minnesota Vikings, right? And I've seen it spun two ways from conservatives. And let's be clear, it's not the internet; it's conservative internet people, right? Yeah. And honestly, because they're bored, right? Somebody in the YouTube chats bring up George W. Bush was a male cheerleader at Yale, right? Like, the fact of the matter is that I've seen it spun both the why are you taking jobs from women, and I'm going to come back to that one in a minute, okay? Because fuck you. And two, men and women's sports again, right? We're back on that thingy. So, on that one, let's take the second one first. You guys have been using that on the trans community. They're not trans people. They are men who are cheerleading. So let's not cross your streams with your weirdo fucking messaging. Okay? And then I heard somebody be like, women can't play in the NFL. That's actually not true. Okay? There have been women who've tried out, and I think there was a couple who were like kickers who were close, right? And put it this way, if there was a woman who could kick a 67-yard field goal, do you not think that the NFL, they don't give a shit. They want to win. Okay? Okay, that's that. But let's go back to the first thingy, the jobs thingy. Do not, you fucking shithead, hypocritical conservatives, pretend for one fucking minute you gave a shit about cheerleading as a job. Okay? Cheerleaders across the NFL are underpaid, treated like fucking dirt, right? Subject to what should be illegal working conditions, and do this for love of what can only be described as a paid hobby. Okay? Because all of those women have to have other jobs to support themselves. They cannot be cheerleaders. There is nowhere in the National Football League where cheerleading is a full-time paid position. It doesn't fucking exist. Okay? So don't go be like, they're taking women's jobs. Fuck you. Okay? You didn't give a goddamn about cheerleaders as a profession, right? Until this happened. That's one. Number two, you're talking about 32 NFL teams. Okay? Yeah. How many fucking cheerleaders? What, like 50 per team? There's, what, probably 160 NFL cheerleaders in all of existence at any given time? This is not a giant industry that the men are taking over all of a sudden. Okay? So fucking miss me with that shit. Just fucking miss me with it. Because it's just bullshit. Right? It's just bullshit. It's another thing for them to whine. And again, I don't fucking get it.
Yeah.
Who cares? I don't know why they care. I really don't.
Yeah, I really did not get this. I mean, when I was in high school, there was a male cheerleader who was not part of the LGBT community.
It's how
He
they do
was
the
on,
little tossing shit and the catching.
yeah, he
This
was on the
isn't
football.
new.
He was on the track team. He legit was like, I'm here to hang out with the girls.
Seems like a good idea to me.
Yep.
Right?
Why?
Okay. And again, this is not new. Go watch Bring It On. Okay. You guys got a screening room in the White House. Do me a favor. Go flip it. It's a classic teenage comedy. It's actually a pretty good movie. Okay. And Elijah Dushku's hot. Right? Like, let's just call a spade spade. It's fine. On the gay marriage thing, which you brought up earlier, right? And let me, for the audience who may not have kept up with this, here's what's going on. And this is, I'm going to get to my weird takes about this in a minute. What's happening is Kim Davis, who was the woman we remember from ever so long ago, who got sued for not providing marriage licenses to gay couples after Obergefell. She was eventually fined and blah, 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 blah. She has now gotten her appeal. Yeah, that's right. This is a blast from the first Trump administration, right? She's gotten her appeal all the way back up to the Supreme Court. She has applied for a writ of cert, right, which is the thing that you need to appear before the court. And what she's saying is that her fine should be wiped out and that Obergefell was wrongly decided. Okay? Now, two things that are interesting about this, right? I have seen more conservative backlash against this idea than liberal backlash, right? There are so many Republicans who are like, don't do it. Don't do it. This will kill you, okay? The gay marriage thing is settled. Most Republicans are in favor of it. Leave it the fuck alone. Do not go after this one, right? And I got into a discussion with somebody on TikTok. She's like, well, it's not really the Trump administration doing this. I'm like, right, but it doesn't matter. They're going to get tagged with it because it's his court and he bragged about it. They're going to get tagged with it, period. Now, to get a writ of cert, to appear before the court, just to get the case heard, does not require a majority. Takes 4. 4 justices have to say, yep, let's listen to it. Now, here's where my hot take comes in. Are we ready? If I was a liberal justice on the court, I'd absolutely fucking do it. Yeah, let's hear a case right now. Let's do it, right? If I was one of the 3 liberal justices on the court, I would absolutely give her fucking writ. I would say, let's hear this case. Join with Alito or, what's his name? God, why can't I think of his damn stupid name? Black guy, what's his name? God dang it. Chat, help me out here. I don't know why I'm blanking on this Supreme Court justice. This is his name? Thomas. God dang. You know Alito and Thomas want to do it. Alito and Thomas want to do it. Okay? Oh, I do it. Force him to. Force him to do it. Because here's the deal. It's the same thing with Roe. Okay? The Republican Party has relied on these evangelicals to be a good 30 to 40% of their base for a long time. A long time. And the evangelicals were not getting what they were promised by the GOP. Now they are. The checks are coming due. Okay? The evangelical base is demanding action on Roe, Obergefell, all this crap. Make them do it. Make them hear the fucking case and make them come out on one side or the other. Okay? Because I'll bet you money, I will bet you money, they will not overturn Obergefell. They are not that fucking stupid. Okay? Couple of reasons. Here's what you got. You got the 3 liberals, right? You have the 3 liberals. I know this is so weird. Go look at Gorsuch's opinions. Gorsuch frequently pisses off the conservatives because he's got a weird libertarian streak in him, and he also really likes Native Americans. Okay, literally, go look up his court stuff. Gorsuch never votes against Native Americans. If the Native Americans are suing the U.S. government, he's on the Native side. No one knows why. It's his pet project. It's weird. Go look it up. Gorsuch has come down. He came down on the trans issue. He was the deciding vote in Bostock that added gender identity to the items that you could not discriminate against. And Gorsuch was the deciding vote and the one who wrote the majority opinion, right? He's got a weird libertarian streak to him, right? Where he's like, nah, I don't like you guys fucking with this shit, okay? Roe you can get away with because you're sending it back to the states, so that kind of fits into his stupid libertarian mind, right? You can't do the same thing with Obergefell, and he knows it. He fucking knows it, okay? So you've got 4. Alito and Thomas are going to vote to overturn Obergefell. That's not a fucking question. I don't think Roberts will do it. I think he will say it's settled case law and he's not going to overturn precedent. But what do you think of my hot take? Do you think the liberals should make them do it? I know it's a risk, but I honestly agree with a lot of the conservatives I hear. You overturn Obergefell, man, that's the fucking, you're going to piss so many people off.
Oh God, I don't. Ooh, I mean, I kind of want to say like yes, take the risk.
I don't think they'll overturn it.
I don't think they will either. But then there's part of me that's like, no, Jay, they are that dumb. They want the Civil War. I don't know where that voice came from, but yeah, I don't know.
Yep. And I want to say it was Gorsuch. Here's the opinion in Bostock, right? And I want to show you guys this. Again, Gorsuch was the deciding vote, right? It's Bostock versus Clayton County. In each of these cases, an employer fired a longtime employee for being homosexual, transgender. Held. An employer who fires an individual merely for being gay or transgender violates Title VII, right? And I want to say, and so this was Bostock. This got decided in 2020, right? Just before the election, right? And then who wrote the Bostock opinion? I want to say it was Gorsuch. Yep, it was Gorsuch. The 6-3 majority opinion was written by Justice Neil Gorsuch, who was Trump's first nominee to the Supreme Court. Remember? He was the first guy. He came before Kavanaugh and what's her name, right? Neil Gorsuch was the one that said, no, you can't fire transgender people for being transgender. Sorry. And I remember when that opinion came down and conservatives lost their minds. Because you got to remember, Gorsuch was a Trump appointee. He was supposed to be their guy. And then he was like, no. Trans people, you can't fire trans people for being trans. Like that's not allowed. Right? Some of these justices get weird. Right? And I don't know what it is. Yeah, he has a notable record concerning Native American law, advocating for tribal rights and sovereignty. How many of these has he got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decisions, right? That he's been like, nope. When it comes to Native Americans versus the U.S. government, I side with the Native Americans. And no one knows why. I always thought it was really interesting. So, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I kind of think they're going to try it, like legit.
I mean, the simplest way out for Roberts, because Roberts, being who Roberts is to convince them to deny cert and to go, we're not even going to hear the case. Fuck you. We're not doing it. Okay, and wait 2 more years, right? Um, I I don't. I think the most likely scenario is that they're not gonna go, right. I think that Gorsuch and the three liberals are gonna say no, and I think Roberts is gonna say no, and then I think Kavanaugh or Barrett, Coney Barrett, are gonna say no to cert just because they don't want the controversy. They just don't want to deal with it. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna hear the case. I'm just saying, if I was a liberal justice, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's do this. Come on, fuckers, let's go. Put up or shut up time.
Yeah.
You know, Chad says Gorsuch is the least terrible and occasionally helpful Trump appointee. Again, I don't know why he is the way he is. He's really weird, right? The Bostock one was the one where I went, excuse me? You did what now? And I'm a nerd. Look, I read Supreme Court decisions because I think they're funny, right? Because sometimes they'll insert funny things like the words jiggery pokery. Yes, the word jiggery pokery is in a Supreme Court decision from the last 10 years. Take that for what it's worth.